cried a tear, you wiped it dry. I was confused.
Oh, yeah, good old Anne Murray.
I sold my soul. You bought it back for me and held me up and gave me dignity. Somehow you needed me. You gave me strength to stand alone again, to face the world out on my own again. You put me high upon a pedestal, so high that I could almost see eternity. You needed me. You needed me. And I can't believe it's you. I can't believe it's true.
We're the only channel to ever be demonetized by Anne Murray.
And you were there. And I'll never leave. Why should I leave? I'd be a fool. 'Cause I finally found someone who really cares. You held my hand when it was cold, when I was lost. You took me home. You gave me hope when I was at the end, and turned my life back into truth again. You even called me friend. You gave me strength to stand alone again, to face the world out on my own again. You put me high upon a pedestal, so high that I could almost see eternity. You needed me. You needed me. You needed me.
I could fucking own Anne Murray. We gotta start doing the karaoke songs again. That was a lot of fun. And it's showtime!
Coming to you live on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kids, welcome back to the podcast. And thank you. Podcast, it's the Anne Murray, man. It sucks the anger out of you. That's it. Every time I'm gonna start keeping that right there on my phone and ready, so the next time I get a Karen, I can just hit play. And Anne Murray will just sing her into give her a lullaby of calmness. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that works out. The podcast is your home for rational crypto news and objectivity, leaving emotion at the door. Talking about what we like, why we like it, and where we see it going. We are not offering financial advice. We are telling you what we do, and that is all. We don't slow down. We don't let up. Full speed is our only speed. I'm your host, Scott, pragmatic investor who has won and lost fortunes. Joining me, as always, live and in studio, is the greatest producer of all time, the one, the only, the original, the mighty Bell. Let's give it up for Bell. And the I'm sure the 3 or 4 viewers that we have tonight. Belle, how are we doing, by the way? I'm not asking about viewers. I'm just, how are you doing tonight?
You know what? I'm still kind of cracking up about the Anne Murray karaoke that was going on. That was great.
I could own Anne Murray. I would have zero issue with Anne Murray karaoke. And I've done some silly stuff. I was opening up shows. I just get bored. You get bored. And
you know what? Maybe we should start. The next time I'm in studio, we'll open it up with karaoke.
okay, but we get to pick each other's songs. That's it. Because I think you look like a typo negative kind of gal. I think you could own like Black number 1 by typo negative. I think you could absolutely rock that one.
Hey, Time Slayer, I'm going to need your playlist, please, because I think he's going to wind up pulling a lot of stuff that you already happen to own.
Hey, you know what? I've Britney Spears. I could do Britney. Whatever happened to her, by the way? You see her on those crazy ass Twitter videos she's putting out, the poor dear. What happened to her? I mean, honestly, what happened to you? I know she'd been rode hard and put away wet, and you could see it in that. This is a woman who is not aging gracefully or with purpose. She's kind of going a different direction when she's doing all this shit. But those crazy videos that she puts out, out there with the big puffy hair and those huge bags under her eyes. I mean, I'd have to ask Micah. Micah exists in this world, and I'd say, hey, Micah, could you insure her? Would you give her health insurance? And where would you be looking? Now, that's it, dude. Be a dear, dude, and put those in the comments, man, because it all comes down to money, doesn't it?
We don't know what all of her diagnoses are, so it's possible that she could be insurable. Maybe that's part of what's making her go off the deep end is she doesn't have health insurance.
Well, the best part is you don't really have to underwrite her. I mean, it's not going to be she's cash kind of girl. I mean, she got the money for days.
Why not save her a little bit? I mean, you know what? She's got to be getting her feet under her and understanding business now. I mean,
there's nothing rattling around up there. There's nothing left in her head except I used to be something, and now nobody cares. And that's hard. It's like the child actors. They get up, they turn 22, and suddenly nobody gives a shit about them. Like Macaulay Culkin. We loved him in Home Alone. That kid. And, then he grew up and no one gave a fuck about him. And that's where it is. And then look what happened to that poor guy. I mean, it's just.
Isn't he going through a divorce now? I mean, I don't know.
I can't say I actively follow Macaulay Culkin, so I don't really know. I just know that he hit hard. I mean, that got us right down in there. And, she's just doing the same thing. I don't think. It's you're on top of the world one moment, and then the next moment nobody gives a shit about you, and some people just simply cannot handle that. I mean, she's literally in this stage of her life where she could just comb her hair back or actually comb her hair and put on normal clothes and just walk around, and nobody would even notice her. They would say, oh my God, it's Britney. They wouldn't be doing any of that. They'd be, wow, look at that broad. Boy, I bet she's got stories. That's it. That would be the entirety of it. No one's really lighting up. So for her, I guess I kind of understand why she makes those crazy ass videos, because she's just trying to become relevant again, and she can't. I mean, she's just not. I mean, bubblegum pop is great when you're 22, but what is she, in her 40s? She's in her 40s or pushing 50 by now, yeah?
I'm not exactly sure. I think she's actually younger than I am.
Is she?
I think so.
Oh my God, that's even sadder. All right, folks. So I know everybody came by as you want to meet the guy who always gets it right or who always knows, and we have him with us tonight. His name is me, and we're gonna go ahead and give you a little bit of a round of applause on that one. I don't know, man. I'm tired of. I'm kind of tired of being Mr. Nice Guy out here all the time. I always seem to roll over and capitulate to other people's desires, even though I know that they're absolutely wrong, instead of just saying exactly what's on my mind. So I think it's. I think it's time. There's not a whole hell of a lot to talk about out here right now. As we've been saying for a good while now, the market is undergoing a massive paradigm shift. All right, what you thought you knew, you didn't know. Everyone who knew they had it didn't have it, and everybody who knows exactly what's going to happen doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. And you're seeing it here. This whole thing right there, you see that whole big ass that bomb off. It's because Trump used a pre-recorded speech talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency and didn't say rate cut. Where did that rumor even start at? You understand that the president does not have the authority to do what you guys used to run Bitcoin up all right in there. You understand he does not have that authority. He can't just say, nope, we're not going to tax it. It doesn't work that way. All right, means, ways, levies, collecting and distributing taxes, it originates in Congress, and that is it. Article 1, Section 8, guys, that's never, ever going to leave. And no single entity, with the exception of maybe some of these liberal judges, which is funny, by the way. I'm having such a good time with that. You know who's been doing good on that is the Babylon Bee. Those guys have been having just a hoot. I thought the funny one that I saw was after SpaceX got the stranded astronauts back. I saw that federal judge orders Elon Musk to put him back. That was it. Sorry, I got to hit a round of applause. That was very, very clever. But what I mean by a massive paradigm shift is you've got to kind of see it yourself. You kind of have to have an understanding of what's going on over here. And literally everything that you need to know is kind of staring you right there in the face. So you have to decide what is actionable and what is not actionable. Now, Bitcoin is kind of standing alone in the somewhat actionable, but getting into a lot more volatility than we've seen out of Bitcoin in a long time. But it's getting into somewhat actionable because of tulips. That's why Bitcoin is doing what it's doing, is because of tulips. So I'm pretty sure anybody who's seen Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps, that was a bad movie. That was not good. But anybody who sees that understands what they mean by that and the tulip frenzy. There was a time when you could buy a house for a tulip bulb. I mean, it was just such a massive bubble, but everybody believed it. And if everybody believes it, or at least enough people believe it that you could use that for, to make an actionable move, then it kind of works out. And Bitcoin is the same. As long as enough people believe in it, that it is a store of wealth, even though it's not a store of wealth, as long as enough people believe that this is the future of currency, then it could be, but it will never, ever actually trump reality. Right now, we're still more or less a civilized society, so everything kind of works out. Inflation's still running wild. Even though Doge is up there turning over all this misspending and malfeasance and all that other stuff, people are angrier at him for finding it than the people who are blowing it. So it really doesn't matter. But all of that comes around to. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted here right now, guys. I'm sure you can hear the dogs. Belle's going to take care of this in a minute. All of this is more or less a distraction from the point that those money printers are still going burr, burr, burr. So the real store of wealth, the thing that people make actual actionable moves on, is still going to be the United States fiat dollar. Now, we could argue that up and down, why it's bad, why it's good, why it matters, why it doesn't. We could do that all day, but you have to take it down to the least common denominator. When you're talking about fiat and fiat currencies, you're going to have to take it down to the very least common denominator, because the bulk of everything is going to be, and actionable decisions are going to be coming from people that are just not very well informed. Now, the government has known about that forever and recognized that forever. That's why they've been able to do what they do and get away with what they've gotten away with, is because people don't know, people don't care, and people don't want to. So you have to kind of take some of those lessons and apply it to here. Now, let me give you one right this very second. You see this one here? You guys, you see that? Whoop, that all down. That happened the very second that Trump, that little run-up happened, because Trump was going to talk, even though he didn't. It was a pre-recorded statement. And afterwards, it dumped off because they didn't say what the experts thought he was going to say. And a lot of that is also going to come down to education, because people don't actually understand that we do have three separate and distinct branches of government, and they don't understand the function of any of them. They literally think that an executive order is all inclusive and all binding, and it isn't. And it isn't. In fact, an executive order will never even, the very first thing that the bulk of presidents do when they take over from the former administration is just null and void all the executive orders. Trump did it, Biden did it, and whoever replaces Trump, they'll do it too. So it's neat for these little 2-year, 4-year gaps, but it none of that is permanent. So everybody was somehow expecting that he's going to come up and say that there's going to be 0% interest on capital gains on cryptocurrency. And he doesn't have the authority to do that. It does not originate with the executive branch. It originates with the congressional branch. And you could like it or hate it. Doesn't really matter. But it is what it is. So your store of wealth is that unstable that even a misunderstanding of the powers of government and somebody saying or not saying something is enough to shake it, then you got to recognize that this is a problem. But we really don't. We don't really recognize it a problem because we have people like Cathie Woods. We have people like Michael Saylor, who is just a much bigger version of FTX, meaning that he's doing the same bullshit that FTX was doing, is creating wealth out of nothing. But you have these guys that are sitting up there just going on and on, telling you how it's going to be $300,000. How Cathie Woods, her predictions are even wilder. She's up in the millions. It'll be $1.5 million. It won't. Let me stop you there. It won't. So, because all of these things we take as truth, even though they're not, but enough people take them as truth that you could actually do take a little bit of action on something like this. Now, for me, what do I do with Bitcoin? Because I do own Bitcoin. I LP Bitcoin. I will find the very best yield I can get from my Bitcoin paired up with USDC. I won't pair it with anything else. And I will go and get the very best yield I can out of it, because the longer that the market trades sideways, the more important it is for me to LP. I'm not saying you, I don't give a shit what you do, but I'm saying the longer that it stays sideways, the more important it is for me to LP. Now, I posted that on Twitter and got a surprising amount of comments, because nobody ever comments on anything that I put out there. A surprising amount of comments, and that's the part that shocked me a little bit. So it made me have to go back to some of the very basics and start to think about the way people think, because that's what matters out here. Crypto, as far as minimalists and maximalists, I would love to argue that is more or less dead. Now, for smaller investors, and these tend to be the most vocal investors, I just want to make sure that we all know where I'm coming from here. These are the guys that got $300 that took a $300, put it into a single token. It's now worth about $16, but they're still on their mountain every single day telling you about how it's going to come back. These are maximalists. They're not realists, but they are maximalists. And typically, the people who are yelling the loudest have the least amount of money over here in the market. So take what they're going to say with a grain of salt. There's been a lot of poor, broke people standing on street corners wearing sandwich boards, screaming at the top of their lungs that the end is coming. So that's been happening out here for a very, very long time. But while I appreciate and respect their right to say what they're saying, they're absolutely dead wrong. And I can explain this very, very easily. If you are not putting your money to work, I put my money to work, guys. If you are not putting your money to work, then you are a victim of every single bit of that. Every single time that we get that nice spike and that wicked red drop off right afterwards, and we get those big green candles and bigger red candles, every single time that we do this, that you are not earning with your money, you are a victim of everybody who believes in this shit. Everybody who says that this is the way, the only way, blockchain be damned, it's Bitcoin and nothing else. You are a victim to their whims, but more importantly, you are a victim to their fundamental misunderstanding of economics. And like it or not, guys, this is economics. And here's the funny part. For some reason, it never gets said enough, but I'm going to go ahead and say it right now again. You can ignore the laws of economics. And we've been doing that out here in crypto for as long as there's been crypto. We've been ignoring the laws of economics. But over time, you can never, ever ignore the results of ignoring the laws of economics. And we have been violating those laws of economics out here for as long as we possibly could. Derivatives, and X tokens and all the other good stuff and all the ways that we squeeze dimes out of nickels out here, as if by printing more, it's suddenly worth more. And it isn't. But we fooled a population. We fooled a whole entry-level group of very, very young investors that really they haven't even begun to pull their own heads out of their own asses. And you've made them believe it. And you did it in a bubble. You did it in a bubble where everything goes up, where everything is a good idea, where everybody is actively and aggressively doing anything they can to get money on the board. And for some reason, we can't seem to accept the fact that those days are over. Bubbles pop. They always pop. They're very easy to spot. Massive rise, extreme volatility, massive fall offs. These are things that symbolize a bubble, and they always have. But for some reason, because it happened once, we all seem to believe that it happens again. Now, we absolutely torpedoed our own channel. We have a good enough stream here. We have a good enough production. I have a nice enough voice that I could have bullshitted my way into thousands and thousands of viewers. Nice and easy. All I have to do is give you confirmation bias that you're right. You are making the best decision possible. It's going to work out. You just got to buy. You just got to hold. You just got to believe. That is the correct message for the masses. That is the least common denominator message, but we never did it. We never did it because I cannot stand to see people absolutely getting blown up by this stuff. So anyway.
And because when you ran that idea by me, I flat out told you, oh, hell no.
It would have been so much fun. I would have been so good at it, too.
Yeah, and my boot would have gone up where the sun doesn't shine.
I'm not afraid of you, but keep talking. I got to drink.
So, yeah, I mean, that would have worked out really freaking well.
But we would have had a big audience, and that's all that matters. That also goes to social media perception, by the way. If thousands of people are listening to someone talk, he must have something worth saying. That's the whole rub there. And the funny part is the bulk of everybody that's listening to these things are view bots. You can get them. It's $9.99 a week. And they'll make sure that you have, depending on how many viewers you want, $9.99 a week will get you 100 viewers that actually chat now. AI is taking over, so they'll actually sit there and run up the chat board as well. But yeah, they'll get you 100 viewers for $10 a week. $10 a week will get you 100 viewers. So typically, anybody who's doing what we're doing that is even any way, shape, or form monetized, they have this running. So they just put it on, look at how good it is, and they always have neat names. Like Ocho Cinco or something like that is going to be names on there. Anyway, let me get back to it. So I think it's absolutely critical the longer that this market turns sideways, and it's going to continue to trade sideways now. There are no more bullets left in the Bitcoin gun. You guys understand that, right? Everything you wanted, you got. And as soon as you got it, Bitcoin went down. Because the people who actually understand economic reality had a real good idea what was going to happen here when you get all of this. They are more than happy to let you buy because they bought well before you, and they're going to dump because they also understand the laws of economics, and this really has no part of it. It is purely a speculative investment. But all of our builders over the years, they didn't really recognize that. All they saw was that this is a big pile of money and we need to get our bullshit tokens tied into this as quick as we can. And they did. And everything else tied off from everything else. And we're all basically one enormous ecosystem with a whole bunch of little tendrils coming off of it. But they're all still tied to this. So if... What I'm saying is that you got to keep your money working for you one way or another. Now, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into some specifics after this. I would ask for questions. I don't think we're going to get too many. I don't think we got too many viewers tonight. It's just not harsh enough. Now, the one viewer that we do have on here that we interviewed him a couple days ago, Micah, I don't even know if he's still watching on here. Micah is bringing you one of the realest products that's ever happened out here. Ever happened out here as far as providing utility to human beings. Nobody's done it. Nobody's even really tried it yet. And now you have Opolis here that's sitting there waving the flag saying, hey, why don't we just try it? So, yeah, as long as I keep Micah here, that's cool because I want to help push this message. I don't get anything for it. It's not the point. The point is that if we do not assist in this paradigm shift that's happening out here in crypto, it's just a matter of time, man. This shit goes to zero. And well, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be fine. Everybody needs that that voodoo doll hanging from the mirror, and this is the voodoo doll hanging from the mirror. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. You just got to believe it'll be $1.5 million. Cathie Wood said it, and she has a lot of money. So anybody who has a lot of money that says anything must absolutely be right. There is just so much shit that I am right about over and over and over, and we're going to illustrate it. We're going to get into it. All right, we're really going to get into it today. But I want to I need to calm my blood a little bit, Belle. You know what I'm going to calm my blood? Whatever's next in the playlist. Anne Murray, opening up with Anne Murray, man, just made me go just a big rubbery one. You know, I mean, it makes me so melancholy. So I had to rev the engine a little bit to start to get into this. But I'm going to give you guys again my 11 herbs and spices, and we're going to get down to some real basics here, and basic econ and basic crypto and basic everything, because for some reason, as the market shifts, everybody thinks the things that work best in it don't work anymore. And that is absolutely incorrect. I'm just going to kind of lay out the case. You can do what you want with it. So anyway, guys, we'll get back into it here. Give me a minute. I don't know what song is next. I hope it's a ballad. I really hope it's a ballad. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, guys, right here on the podcast on the KPOD network. Please stand by. Or we'll get no song whatsoever. Yay! Oh, that's a ballad. Do you know Ronnie Millsap wasn't really blind? It was an act. Did you know that?
I thumb my way from LA back to Knoxville. I found out those bright lights ain't where I belong.
Oh, he was absolutely blind.
From a phone booth in the rain, I called to tell her I've had a change of dreams, I'm coming home. But tears filled my eyes when I found out she was gone. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. I keep on calling her name. Smoky Mountain rain, I'll keep on searching. I can't go on hurting this way. She's somewhere in the Smoky Mountain rain. I waved a diesel down outside a cafe. He said that he was going as far as Gatlinburg. I climbed up in the cab all wet and cold and lonely. I wiped my eyes and told him about her. I've got to find her. Can you make these big wheels burn? Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. I keep on calling her name. Smoky Mountain rain, I'll keep on searching. I can't go on hurting this way. She's somewhere in the Smoky Mountain rain. I can't blame her for letting go. A woman needs someone warm to hold. I feel the rain running down my face. I'll find her no matter what it takes. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. Keep on calling her name.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kids, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you. I've been getting a lot of tips and tricks from people saying that I'm not enough of a character. So we thought, hey, costumes, huh? This is what me and Bill do, and we're gonna give you, we can give you that. We're gonna give you that as well. So yeah, look. I'd like to say that I'm the same Scott that you just heard 20 minutes ago, except I'm a little bit cooler now because, hey, hat, and there you go. So we're good. Belle, or Mistress of the Dark Belle, or whoever you hell you are with that helmet. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns, or observations, please?
Oh, yeah, we do. And yeah, okay, it's a little bit difficult to read them in,
you got
in
this.
this
You're
helm.
a pro. Come on.
I do have this, but okay. So first one coming in from APD regarding karaoke.
Okay.
You should do some Talking Heads. They're always good.
You know, you can't go wrong with you can't go wrong with a classic, and I'm a huge fan of the Talking Heads. I've been a huge fan of Talking Heads forever and ever. You know what? Hey, we'll consider it. I'll tell you what. If I'm back in front of the desk again, anybody who tips $1, because Bella and I don't get tips, and believe it or not, this is expensive for us to run this production. We do it altruistically out of the goodness of our heart. But yeah, it's you have to tip $1. You tip $1, I'll sing any goddamn song that you want up there. I have very little shame and very, very low self-awareness. For God's sakes, look at me. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Sure, I'll karaoke everything that you want. And what I told Belle was actually incorrect. Ronnie Millsap was absolutely blind. All right. So anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, new type. How's the 5K wallet?
The 5K wallet is currently sitting at $8,047 as of the last minute that I looked, and that was after the little dump off. So yeah, we're still hanging in there. I'll get back in. I will continue to do it, guys. You just everything is so goddamn boring right now. And I've been looking, actually, going out, scouring the world, looking for Web3 games. And if there's any Web3 games that are not trading card games, actual games. If anybody knows any of that I'm not familiar with, please put it in chat. Let me know. I'll go check it out. I've been playing Off the Grid. Off the Grid, Belle. You haven't seen it. I'm going to start live streaming it, though, because it's kind of fun. I suck at it, but I love first-person shooters. And this one, it's clever. I mean, it's clever enough. It has, my kid plays one almost just like it. It's, like, amazingly popular. You know, you drop in, you open crates, you get weapons, you blow the hell out of people. It's kind of one of those. But this one's actually interesting in the fact that I understand what they're doing with their economy. The game itself is not decentralized. The game itself, because there's no reason for the game itself to be decentralized. There's no real reason for any game to be decentralized unless you're talking about an NFT trading card game. And even that, the game mechanics themselves, they don't need to be decentralized, only the economies. And I understand what they're doing with the economy of this one. Now, is it going to be a big hit? They threw away a lot of money paying a lot of influencers to come out there and do game reviews. I think it's I disagree with that. But the gaming market is hyper competitive. So if you don't have somebody like Dr. Disrespect, and what a fall from grace that guy was, Belle, huh? He was just a world of good decisions. Unless you're paying that guy $100,000 to go and review your game, and he gave it a glowing review, by the way. I call it a little above average, but that's about it. But yeah, unless you're doing something like that, you're not going to get noticed out here in the game world. There's very, very few of them that are going to carry it. But these are products, guys. All right, these are products, and I'm all about products. Opolis, health insurance, that's a product. Sigia, data storage, mobile data storage, that's a product. Web3 gaming is in fact a product. I'm all about products. I'm looking for something more interesting, and we're kind of searching out there. Anyway, that dragged on too long. Hope that answered the question. I know I got nowhere near it. Anyway, Belle, please carry on.
New type. What's the drama between Neutron and Cosmos Hub?
Oh, fuck. I don't even know, man. Look, there's drama between everybody. Neutron wants to go out there and stand on their own. And the funny thing is Neutron, if anybody can, they can. And if you actually go look at Neutron, there's actually quite a few apps that are built over there. They're not great. They're not great apps. They're mediocre, or mediocre, unguided, not quite ready for how do I want to say it? They're not really ready for consumers now. They're just kind of ideas that they manage to belch something out and say, hey, look at here, we're an app, and we're a token now. That's kind of what most of them do. But Neutron actually has some built up over there. So as far as the app chain goes, they actually have some apps. It's a little bit interesting. But Cosmos as a whole is just, there's such a dark cloud over this. And they earned every bit of it. Every bit of the angst, the hate, the ire, the disrespect, everything that goes on around Cosmos. They earned every bit of this because you put a bunch of kids up there that had zero business development sense. They don't even know what it is. It's a hindrance to what they really want to do. And what they really want to do is try to make something cool that simply is not cool. And I'm going to give you the best business lesson, marketing lesson I can give to any human being out here within the sound of my voice. And that's at least 4 people. You will never make tech cool. Ever. It already happened once. It will not repeat. You will not make tech cool. And I don't care how many sparklers you have or how many spotlights or how many hip cool cats you have introducing these developers at Cosmosverse and all this other shit. You will never make tech cool. Period. You gotta stop and actually make it a business. Try it that way. Actually earn revenue. And earn more than you're actually spending. And at that point, you don't give a fuck if it's cool. But as long as you keep trying to, that's it. That's the focus. We got to make it. Look at me. Am I not cooler than I was 10 minutes ago? Huh? I'm like Super Scott now. That's all it takes, man. Look at this. So you just have your mild-mannered crypto talking head up here. And then, you turn and you look the other way and all of a sudden, it's Super Podcaster shows up. And now I'm cooler. But you see, I'm really not. Just wearing a dumbass hat and sunglasses. And that's what they're trying to do, man. These guys have been out here for years and years trying to put lipstick on a pig. And all you do is waste your time and piss off the pig. And in this case, it answered in the cost of Cosmos. So the relevant chains, the things that are really starting to do it, they're doing it a couple different ways. One, most of them, they're just standing on their own 2 feet and not mentioning Cosmos. They don't want it in the conversation with them, and it makes sense. You don't want to drag over bad press and drama and all that other shit onto your product that is actually functional and monetized over here. So I understand why. But yeah, that's kind of the direction they're going. I happen to agree with it. Anyway, hope that answered the question. Bell, carry on.
All right, so new type. How does Opolis make money, and how does Opolis make me money?
Well, that's a very good question, sir. How does Opolis make money? Opolis sells health insurance. Now, again, look, man, if you guys want to really line up some questions for Micah, just line them up, man. We'll get him on the show. I had a good time with him. He's a funny guy. I love the mustache, man. That's how much time out of his day he takes every single morning to get the salve and the oils and all that stuff in that mustache, because that is a bold damn statement. And so they make money by selling health insurance. Now, here's kind of what happens. You pay for health insurance, and you may or may not use it, but you will pay your premium, period. So it's the hope of all health insurance agencies that the premium will be at least just slightly higher than what they end up paying out for you over the long haul. That's it. These things they're not making 70, 80, 90% on plans. They're making 2, 3, 4%. But in bulk, in volume, that turns into a lot of money. But these things run very just razor thin margins out there. So the only way they can offset their risk is to get a lot of people in there. And they're more than happy to insure every 20-year-old on the planet. They have no problem with that because they're like Deadpool at that age. They can go to work, get their arm torn off. They wake up the next morning and there's a new arm there. They heal quick. They don't really want me. They don't want 53-year-old alcoholics. They don't want 53-year-old alcoholics that recently discovered cannabis again and doesn't exercise. They don't want me. All right. They want, like Bell's kids. That's who they want. So they operate at very, very razor thin margins, but they are designed to operate profitably. All right, that's it. So how do they make money? They sell health insurance, and they make a little bit on each and every plan. That's how they make money. How are you going to make money? Well, that's kind of the real question, isn't it? That's the crypto question.
theoretically, a revenue share model would work.
And odds are good that you're going to see one of those. See, what they did is they shook hands. I love that helmet, by the way. That helmet is badass. Who made that helmet? Who made that? Do you know who made that helmet?
I
I
do.
did. I never show my armor. I never show any of my armor out here. But yeah, that's one that I made. They've shaken hands with a person, guy you guys all know. I very much respect what he does out here in the field. He's kind of unique in this, and his name's Eric Wiseman. Now, Eric, I called him, I talked to him, we saw him out in Ethereum Denver. He said, yeah, we took him on as client. So they're going to be, odds are good that they're going to be sunsetting their existing token. I think the token is called Work. If I'm wrong there, Micah, please clarify it in chat. But they're going to be sunsetting that token and launching a new token. And I cannot tell you how excited Eric is about this, right? I got to get Eric on. He can tell you how excited he is, because the stuff that you guys see out there on crypto Twitter and the stuff that is discussed in the back rooms are wildly different. And the biggest thing that they're wildly different around is products. See, the people who know are saying products. They're pushing into products. They are starting to knock on the doors and getting products and things that are made, consumer-facing products. That's where this is shifting to. And if you want to capitalize on that, you got to be in before it really shifts. And fortunately, you're going to get a couple of real good opportunities. One of them will be whatever that Opolis token is. I promise you, I'm going heavy. I have no doubt about it. I want these people to work for me. I want them to work like Trojans for me. I want them to be the 300 at the hot gates that are going to make sure that whatever it takes, they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they get their way. I want them working for me. That's it. I want them working for me. So if I give them money and they give me tokens, and everything about their success or failure is going to be wrapped around that token, I want to make sure it's the right people, the right team, and the right tokens. But most importantly, it has to be the right product. Bell, now I can make a guess and say what the healthcare industry runs annually in the United States, or at least the insurance industry. And I'm going to say right now, with no knowledge whatsoever, that it's over $1 trillion. I would say over $1 trillion is paid into healthcare premiums annually. I want to say that that's probably in the ballpark. Bell, am I at least in the ballpark?
You're getting closer than most people would, yes.
Okay. So with that, I'm looking for, very interested in anything that disrupts industry, particularly an industry like that. I want something that'll work for me. I want something where I don't have to get through those hot gates to actually get access to any of that. I want to be able to talk to the guys myself. And in this case, I can. And they are small enough now that it makes it very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. That's all I'm saying. How can he make money on it? Talk to Micah. I think he's Toad on TOAD. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, Toad Medicine.
Toad Medicine on Twitter. So give him a follow, because that's who you're going to hear all this stuff from. Not from me. You're going to hear it from him. Hope that answered the question, Bell. Carry on.
Deep House Nation, what happened to the SackTap app?
Yeah, what usually happens to stuff out here, very exciting, and then people get bored and they walk away from it because it doesn't offer that immediate gratification. But I could be wrong there, Bell. What's happened to it?
I mean,
Keep talking. I got to get my cigarette.
They also had other projects that they were supposed to get done before they started on SackTap. And they're working on getting those completed before they pick up SackTap where it was.
Yeah, and I like the team. I like the guys. I think they're great. They're fun. They're very passionate about what they do. They're skilled developers. But the whole reason that I even brought that up with those guys is because it's a project that should have taken about 3 weeks. And I was like, I just want to see if somebody can actually take a very basic mobile game, make it blockchain, and make it at least fun enough that I could put it on my phone and horse around with it when I'm on the toilet. People disregard mobile gaming. They just kind of blow it off. The simple ones, not the intricate RPG type, but the little simple ones where you're on the can for 5 minutes or 18 minutes at my age, and you just want a game to horse around with. And that was it. I just wanted to see if something could actually be put out start to finish. And yeah, I have no answer for you because that was a long time ago. I haven't really seen an update, but when I do, I'll certainly let you know. Belle, carry on.
Nuclear chicken, laugh out loud. Scott is wearing a Dry County shirt. I used to live in a dry county for many years.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Belle got this for me. We were in Lynchburg. The county in question is Lynchburg. Hang on, I think it's on the back.
It's Moore County. The city is Lynchburg.
Oh, okay, the city is Lynchburg. The county is Moore County, and it's the home of the Jack Daniel's distillery. Now, I'm not a huge Jack Daniel's fan, except for what's in the glass right now, and this happens to be the Sinatra Select. $158 a bottle, but it is well worth it. If you've ever drank real good booze, you understand that real good booze tends to come with a much higher price tag, and this one did. So it's just kind of funny that the number one selling whiskey on the planet is Jack Daniel's. It's everywhere. All right, it's everywhere. The worst one they make is Old Number 7, and that's one that they're best known for, and that is junk. It is bad. It's good for mixing. All right, if you want a Jack and Coke, Old Number 7. If you really want a Jack and Coke, not Sinatra, Eric, not Sinatra Select at $158 a bottle. You don't mix that, but eat it. I can't ever forget that one. Yeah, I just think it's funny. How aggressively government will work against its own interests. And in this case, the Jack Daniel's distillery in Moore County and the city of Lynchburg is living proof of that they would rather leave the county dry and not let them sell their alcohol, but tax the ever-loving piss out of them because they sell it everywhere else. So yes, that's it. That's why I got the t-shirt. It's ironical. I thought it was great. Belle.
Well, the other funny part about that one is, okay, when you visit the distillery, yes, you do have the bottle shop where you can actually purchase your Sinatra blend and anything else they have there. You're not buying the alcohol.
Nope.
You are buying a collectible bottle, and the alcohol inside it is a gift.
That's exactly right. You're paying for the glass, and some of them are pretty cool bottles. So you're paying for the glass, and the booze is just free. That comes with the bottle, but you're not buying the booze. That's how they get around with it, and everybody looks the other way. It's so fucking stupid, man. It is so government. Anyway, carry on, Belle. All
right, Deep House Nation. I was wondering why Bella was wearing a mask with Beyonce braids. Then I zoomed in and realized that's Medieval Knights chain stuff. I like the get.
Yeah, it's actually mail, bro.
Yeah, it's called mail.
See, I do this part of it. I do that, but Belle actually does the mail. So I know how, but I'm not very good at it, and it takes so fucking long. I can literally rough in 5 of those helmets by the time it would take me to make the mail skirt that goes around even one of them. So I do what's called outsourcing. And I just tell Belle, I need the skirts, and I got 5 helmets, and I need the skirts, make the skirts, and then she'll bring them over, and then I hack them together. But no, those are not braids, dude. And this stuff will actually stand up. This is butted, so it'll actually stand up to a hit. And the steel up on top, it's only 18 gauge. It's more decorative, but it's still hardened. It's still hardened to 44 HRCs on the Rockwell scale. That thing will take a hit. I mean, it will take a good hit. So they're more or less decorative helmets. But if I smacked you in the head with a baseball bat, you're gonna be fine. It'll stand. It'll stand up to it. So anyway, one more, Belle, and we got to play a song.
Nuclear chicken. I never really could figure out from what they were saying if Opolis was reselling insurance, providing insurance directly, or if the networks would change every year or not. I'll actually take this one. So Opolis is actually providing the insurance. They do have a third-party administrator that administers their plans. So that's probably where that confusion is coming from. And that TPA, that third-party administrator, can change every year.
So there you go. Hope that answered the question for you. All right, guys, get in some more. Let's have some fun tonight. I'm having a ball. You know why? Because I'm Super Scott tonight. See that? I have a hat. I have glasses. I'm Dr. Scott tonight, Bill. Dr. Scott, obviously.
You don't look like you're starring in Rocky Horror Picture
I
Show.
could star in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I would be excellent in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And you know what? I used to say I'd make a good Frankenfurter. Now I know I'd make a good Dr. Scott because I'm an older man with a belly now, so I'm kind of ready for that. So yes. Anyway, guys, if you could give us a minute. I forgot. I always see that wall blast of comments that come across, by the way. That's pretty cool. You guys should comment in all caps because it shows up better on this screen right here, the big all caps, and then everybody can see it. And if nobody subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, because if you subscribe to the channel, it'll make the little guy go off. It'll make the blink, and we haven't heard that in months. God, this is dead out here. Crypto reporting is dead. But we still can carry on, and we try our very best. But let me come back after this. We'll get the rest of your questions. I'll tell you why the money that you're making on yield farming right now is exponentially more valuable than you're going to make on anything else. But we will get right back to it. I have no idea what the next song is. I hope it's another ballad, Belle. I'm still feeling melancholy. We'll be back here in just a few minutes, guys, on the podcast on the KPOD network. Please stand by. Yes. We're killing it.
Sitting in a restaurant, she walked by. I seem to recall that certain look in your eye. I said, "Who's that?" You said with a smile, "Oh, it's nobody, nobody." Maybe that explains the last 2 weeks. You called me up, dead on your feet, working late
again.
I asked who with, you said nobody, nobody. Well, you're nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name. Well, I wonder, does she think she's being clever? You say nobody's after you. The fact is, what you say is true, but I can love you like nobody can. Even better. Late last night, we went for a drive. You were miles away. I asked, who's on your mind? You said nobody. Nobody. Why do you ask? Oh, her again. I could have told you that. We came back home, got ready for bed. I said to myself, I've got one shot left. You're still mine, and I won't stand in line behind nobody. Nobody. Well, you're nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name. Well, I wonder, does she think she's being clever? You say nobody's after you. The fact is, what you say is true, but I can love you like nobody can. Even better. Well, you're nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name. Well, I wonder, does she think she's being clever? You say nobody's after you. The fact is, what you say is true, but I can love you like nobody can. Even better. Well, you're nobody called today. She hung up when I asked her name. Well, I wonder, does she think she's being clever?
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast with your host, Super Scott. Huh? I got the sunglasses on. I could be anybody right now. Belle, please carry on.
All right, so one more question coming in from Nuclear Chicken. Scott, if you had to spend 5 years on a desert isle alone and you had a solar-powered iPod that could only hold 3 songs, what 3 songs would you hope would be on it?
Oh my God, you're talking about my top 3 desert island songs, dude. I can't really. I'm hugely eclectic musically. I like virtually everything, and I honestly I couldn't answer that question, man. Look, they all every song, every bit of music, everything that an artist really pours his heart into, they all have their own special beauty. That's like saying, what kind of girl do you like? All of them, virtually all of them. And I tend to be a very, a gentleman for exactly that reason, because I might be shipwrecked with one of these, random women that I run into throughout my life. And as long as I was nice to her then, when I didn't have to be, she's going to remember that when we're on that desert island, and therefore be more likely to sleep with me. That's 4D chess there, guys. All right. That's your Scott there, man, is 4D chess. If you ask me albums, I could probably come around to that a little bit. Believe it or not, I'm just because it was so brings back nostalgic in a different part of my life, because I was actually still very, very young in the Navy in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. But one of my desert island albums would probably, believe it or not, would be Pearl Jam 10, because that was one of those rare albums that effectively every single song on it was a hit. Every single song stood by itself, was just absolutely wonderful. My other album would be probably Metallica, Master of Puppets, because for the same reason, every single song on there stood by itself. Every single song on there was a good song. It got radio play all by themselves. It's one of those just rare things where these are albums that effectively didn't have deep tracks. All the tracks were good, and you don't run into those. You just don't run into a lot of those. So Pearl Jam 10, Metallica, Master of Puppets, and I'm going to cheat out on this thing, and I'm going to say Michael Jackson's Greatest Hits. Because that's another one of the guy you're talking about, an iconic artist that had hit after hit after hit. So I would probably put those 3 on there. Again, I'm very eclectic. It'd be tough, man, because I'd have to leave out any Earth, Wind and Fire, any Stevie Wonder, any of the Motown, no Aretha Franklin. I'd have to leave out too many of them. But you did ask a question. Those are my answers. Hope that got there. Belle, do we got any more? Can I go ahead and get into money?
New type, drop in the comment. With the target audience of 20-year-olds who are most likely already under their parents' health care plan, I doubt Opolis will succeed. Gotta wait till I see proof they're making money before I invest.
Oh, and of course you should. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Belle. You got to put your hands up. You're in studio. You can just say, I'm talking now.
All right. So Opolis is not the first company that is actually doing what they're doing. They are just the first with their particular model. Now, the model they are using has already been proven that it works, okay? Yeah, an ideal person for them to have on their plan would be, okay, yeah, like my 21-year-old son that doesn't have anything wrong with him.
He's a great person to insure, by the way.
Those are by far the cheapest patients you will ever see on the face of the planet. But you do also, they do provide coverage to people that they run the gamut as far as coverage goes. If they are offering coverage to a specific small company, another small business, yeah, usually there is a specific amount that business has to pay for the plans. Okay, and then the claims get processed, the amounts in medical spending get reduced, and you've got people within those plans, because you're not only talking about the employees that have coverage now that might not otherwise, but you're talking about spouses if they're married, you're talking about their children, kids in college up to age 26. So there's more that goes into that than people realize.
Let me I'm going to pile onto that just a little bit because I want to provide a little bit of clarification here. New type. You understand that I know for an absolute fact, dude, that you keep a very diversified portfolio, as anybody should who's out here in the investing world. Diversification is key. Rule number 1 of investing is diversification. Rule number 2 is rule number 1. I'm heavily diversified. I know that you're heavily diversified, and these insurance companies will be heavily diversified. You have got to have a solid base, and then you can take on riskier assets. I know this. You know this. We know this. These insurance companies are going to be the same way. All right. Now, their safe assets are going to be their Bitcoin, their Ethereum are going to be 20-year-olds, man. It is what it is. They're young. They're healthy. They have a tendency to not go to the doctor very goddamn often. And these are the guys that are just getting paid, you know, that they're basically paying these insurance companies month after month after month because they're effectively preventative and catastrophic. As soon as that same young man who nothing has ever happened to before gets into a motorcycle accident because he is in fact young and dumb, it's going to pay out the ass for it. But in general, this is your base, and this is where you're going to want to make, this is where you're going to be making your steady, solid income, the stuff that you can count on month after month after month. But when you have that, you can afford to take on riskier assets. And New Type, you know as well as I do, that if you have a very solid base in whatever it happens to be, in this case, let's just say it's Bitcoin, that Bitcoin ain't going to move that much. It is fairly reliable if you can put it to work and earn a yield on it. If you do absolutely nothing with it, then you are completely stuck to the whims of the market. You're buying aggressively, you're selling aggressively, you're taking taxable events every single time you do it. So the people who are in it longer and understand economics and understand taxes and understand risk profile and risk aversion, they're going to have a portion of it in Bitcoin, but not all of it. And what they do have in Bitcoin, they're going to be putting to work. Opolis, the dream client is a 20-year-old, but that is effectively true for every single insurance company that's out there. Aetna, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, you know, Health, all these things. That is their target audience. Problem is that there's only so many of them. There are only so many 20-year-olds. And eventually, you're going to have to take on riskier assets. Opolis is going to be no different. Now, the thing that I like about it the most is the fact that they realize this, that they are aware of it, that these are professionals that have been working in the healthcare industry for years and years and have said, hey, I think we can do it better. Those are the people that I want to climb in bed with. Not sexually, Micah, even though, you know, maybe me and you, we could, you know, take a look at that. So I shoot straight, but you never know. You never know. It's a funny world. They're going to be doing the exact same thing that every successful insurance company is doing, that every single successful insurance company is doing. The guys that are in there right now, and I've talked to Micah, I've talked to Jeremy, I've talked to the people that are involved with this. These are not people that have zero business development or business savvy. All right, these are not crypto bros that are going to say, we're going to squeeze dimes out of nickels, we're going to gouge the shit out of everybody, and we're going to dump all this shit 2 years from now. These are people who actually understand the business. And the rarest thing that you're going to find out here in crypto right now is people who actually understand a business. How could this not be in my wheelhouse? Personally, dude, don't give a fuck, man. It's your money, your business. You do you, bro. But for me, I'm always going to be looking for the people who are going to work hardest to get me some ROI, not crypto bros. We tried that. It fucking failed spectacularly. Not your crazy Dex people, your Thors, your Kajira. It failed fucking spectacularly. Not your Terra Lunas. It failed spectacularly. I'm looking for people who are just going to simply say, you know what, we can operate profitably at a 3 to 4% profit margin. We know the business. We understand this. We can do it more efficiently and more effectively on blockchain than we can do it through traditional rails. I understand that sounds like just madness. I get it. Because that ain't crypto, baby. That ain't the way it works. But it's the way that it should work. I've been on this soapbox and alone on this lonely mountain for years saying exactly these things. So when a product comes along that does exactly what I've been asking for, simply operate like a business, document your income, document your expenditures, and find your profit margin. How the fuck could I take a pass on this? I don't care what everybody else does, man. You do you. I'm in crazy shit. I'm in crazy shit because my base is very, very stable and because I earn very, very well on it. And while I appreciate all the comments I got on my Twitter post today that you can't do that because I'm fucking smarter than you, brother, you're not. All right? You're not. I got it. I merely do this in any kind of attempt to educate people that if you are doing nothing but blindly holding assets, you are fucked all the way out here. All the way. It's just a matter of time. But if you take a more aggressive approach and you manage your risk and you find a way to earn with your blue chips so that you can take other people's money and apply it to your crazy high APR, just nutty fucking alt tokens. If you can do that and you can see the path to success of these alt tokens, you're going to be fine. Time is on your side in this case. But if you're blindly holding assets, just waiting for Michael Saylor to be right, you are fucked all the way down. Or you got $200 in here and you're just a fucking loudmouth. It's one of those two things. You got anything you want to add to that, Belle?
There is a little bit more regarding Opolis that
Okay,
most
go ahead.
people
I don't
are
know.
not aware of, when it comes to the claims processing standpoint. Your Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, and any of the other companies, Cigna would be the other big one. Okay? They have a tendency to actually cost you more in the long run regarding your medical bills because they do not negotiate on your behalf to get those bills reduced. Okay, they literally just get a bill in, write a check, get a bill in, write a check. They don't actually take the time to see what you, the insured, are getting billed for. That's a big, huge freaking problem. I have personally seen bags of normal saline. So, yeah, clear IV fluid that just plugs right in, keeps you hydrated
It's
when you're
just
ill.
salt water, isn't it?
It's a salt water that's mixed at a certain percentage. That way it doesn't kill you.
So it's fucking salt water.
Yeah.
You got to have saline bags. Those are $85. It's salt water.
Oh, no, I've seen worse. Those bags of normal saline, I have seen those billed for $480 a bag. Those cost $8 to manufacture. And insurance companies are literally just writing a blank check to cover that when it should just be included in room and board.
You know the funniest part? I got a story. Nuclear Chicken usually likes these stories. He likes the military stories. This is not a military story. It would have been a military story back in 1400. It's not really a military story now. But the most expensive bill I ever gotten for healthcare. And by the way, Micah, if we start doing business, dude, I used to joust. I don't joust anymore because I'm 53. But back in the time, I used to joust. And I'm just kind of wondering how you would apply that to my healthcare plan. So here's what happened. Here's what happened. We were doing a full contact joust, and it was actually at a fair. You never do that, man. Those things are for the show. They're WWE. You know, it's guys doing crazy shit that you would never do in reality. But for some reason, we were doing a full contact joust. Now, this is teak lances. These are Clydesdales. This is real armor. I mean, the shit all the way up. And we were just doing a pass. I mean, that's all it was. And it was my second pass. I put him on his ass the first time, and that's the coolest thing that any man is ever going to do, is when you bust that guy off that horse and you get to circle around the audience holding half a lance up because you're the fucking hero right now. And I got to do that before. And then I thought I was done, but they were like, no, hey, just go again. You're already set. So I said, okay, I'll go again. They get the fucking lance. And I was going against the guy, and his name was Charlie Rose. Doesn't matter. This is a real professional. This is a hard hitter, man. I'm semi-pro. This is real pro. And we were doing our pass, and I was wearing what's called a close helm. Now, normally I would never do full contact jousting in a close helm. I'd be wearing a frog's mouth helm, and I'm not like the guy from Knight's Tale. All right, I'm more than happy to sit up straight and take my eyes off the target. But I was wearing a close helm, and a close helm is it sits over your head. It's got a strong back. 2 cheek plates come over and they latch right underneath your cheek with a pin, and then you have the full bellowed visor that pulls down, and all of it pins together. So you're wearing it like skin, and the whole idea is that the helm is designed to deflect blows. That's why you wear them. So we're at our closure. I don't know how fast I was going. Maybe it's Eli. I don't know. I maybe 25, 26 miles an hour. And I mean, we were flying. That's flying on a Clydesdale, but he's a crazy ass horse. And the worst thing that could happen did happen. So I'm wearing what's called a manifer over my rein hand here, and all it is, it's a shaped piece of steel with a big ass flat piece over the end of it. You don't bend in this. Your hand doesn't move, nothing like that. The whole idea is that you hold it up here against your breastplate, and you're holding your lance. So if you take a hit, it's not going to crush your hand. That the armor, you're braced against the armor here. All of that is designed to take the hit. But the worst thing that could happen did happen. And I was not wearing the right arms. I was wearing floating elbows. And you never do that out there, but I was like, fucking Charlie's a good guy. He's going to hit my, he'll hit my my rebrace, so I'll be fine. But that didn't happen. So I saw it coming. I'm leaned in. I'm all the way over. I'm leaning forward. Everything that I should be doing, I am doing. And at the last second, I didn't lift my head because I was like, no. He's gonna hit my reinforce, so we're gonna be fine. He didn't hit my reinforce. It skips off my manifer right off the top because the manifer is designed to deflect the lance. It hit my breastplate and skipped straight up and rammed me in the side of the head. So I saw the lance for the briefest of seconds. I saw that lance right there at my eye. And the next thing I saw was fluorescent lights. That's how bad that thing happened. So somehow, some way, he hit me hard enough. And this is a 14 gauge helmet with 12 gauge cheek plates and a 12 gauge bellows. All of this hardened to 44 HRCs. This is I could drive a car over the top of this, and that's going to hold. But it didn't. So he somehow slammed it right up there on the side of my face and tweaked the bellows visor to the point where it wouldn't raise up. And if you can't raise up the visor, you can't get the cheek plates open. I was unconscious. I mean, out, flat out. I saw the video afterwards. I have a copy of it. I'll show it to you guys on one of these streams if you want to see it. But I was completely busted off the horse. The lance goes flying. My right foot got hung up in my stirrup, and the horse just kept going. He just dragged me, and I'm bouncing behind this Clydesdale who didn't even know that I fell off because it's a Clydesdale. They're just dumb draft horses. But I got dragged all the way to the end of it. The horse stomped my manifer. He didn't stomp it. He just set his foot down. My hand was there. I was unconscious. Stomped my manifer, drove it straight into the ground, but the armor held up, Bell. But the whole purpose of this point of this story is that I went in, apparently they called the ambulance. I wasn't there for it. I'm kind of wondering how they were checking my pulse because I was fully armored. All the way armored. Every single bit of me was covered with steel, and they couldn't get my helmet off. And a close helm goes right here, just below, what's that artery called? The carotid artery? Or
Carotid.
Carotid artery.
Carotid artery.
The helmet goes all the way under there for the sole purpose to make sure that nobody hits you in the carotid artery. So I'm kind of wondering how they even check my pulse. I'm pretty sure, because I heard it on the video, people yelling, "Oh, fuck, he's dead. Oh, my God, he's fucking dead." They were saying all this shit. I don't know. I woke up in the hospital. Now, here's the question. How'd they get that helmet off me? This is heavy. I made this fucking thing. This is heavy, hardened, case-hardened steel. how'd you get that goddamn helmet off me without snapping my neck, rolling it, or breaking any of this shit? Because from my understanding, when you have somebody that took a head injury, you don't move his head. Am I incorrect here, Belle? You want to stabilize that thing?
Ideally, with someone that you suspect may have a neck injury, you do not move the head around.
Okay, so
Ideally.
How do they get that goddamn helmet off? Because there's no fucking way that they have a single tool in there that's going to pry that bitch open. It's just not going to happen, man. You would need grinders. I would need to grind all the rivets off the side to try to physically pull that helmet off, that visor off. That's what you would need. But I cannot imagine me being in an emergency room and they have a grinder that's strong enough to grind down those rivets, because these are big fuckers.
See, you're discounting a group of people that would have been involved in getting you out of there, though.
Who's that?
The fire department.
It would have had to been. The jaws of life. Is that what you're suggesting? That they use the jaws of life to pry it open?
They've got legit grinders that they actually take with them to car accidents.
Anyway, let me finish this story. Nuclear Chicken, if you listen afterwards, brother, I'll show you the video. I woke up in the emergency room. I'm looking out there. I was severely concussed. I don't know the difference between a concussion and severe concussion. I don't know the difference, but I got to experience it. And that was pretty cool, man. I like could not see out of my right eye. I could kind of see. It was just all blurry, and I was like, oh my God, I am fucking dead. But I was still in my armor. I still had my sword. For some reason, I still had my sword. I'm wearing it on my right side, even though I'm a righty, so I'm supposed to wear it on the left. But when we joust, we weren't jousting Italian style. Italian style, we pass on the right, and traditional style, we pass on the left, so the lances are across each other. But I was wearing my sword because it was a fair. You expect to see that. So my sword was still on me. My puck was still on me. That's a puck knife. It's a 14-inch pyramid-style dagger that's designed to get through the armpit. That's all you're aiming for, is the armpit into the heart. 14 inches is long enough to make it over there. So it's cool. But I still had my knife. I still have my sword. And I was in a weapons-free zone, Belle. So I don't think they respected me. I really don't. But anyway, here's the end of it. For all of that stuff, the bill that they sent me was $17,841.58. They said, this is your cost. $17,000. I couldn't believe it because I had health insurance. But for some reason, I guess you can't really underwrite armor removal. It's just not something that comes up, Micah. So when you're writing up a plan for me, dude, I still do ground fighting and I still wear armor. So you might want to slide that in, because I don't want a $17,000 bill. So let's find a way to offset my hobbies. Diversify. Let's diversify, so that I don't get stuck with a bill like that. Belle.
Wow. So, okay, anyway, new type. Rule number 1 is actually don't lose money. And rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1, Warren Buffett.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to... you know what? You can't disagree with Warren Buffett because he's successful. So obviously, if he's successful, everything that he says is solid gold. I'm still going to stick with diversification. If I had the opportunity... If I was trading in an active market at the time that, you know what, I'm not going to. Warren Buffett is an anomaly. If it was just that easy, all you would have to do is read Warren Buffett's book, and then you would become Warren Buffett. But for some reason, there's still only one. So while I appreciate that, and I love folksy wisdom and all that other good stuff, if it was just that easy to do, we would all be Warren Buffett. We could buy the book, read and say, okay, fuck, I'm Warren Buffett now. But maybe there's a little more to it. I don't know. Belle, please.
New type. Have you and Scott signed up for Opolis?
I'm in the process right now. I'm actually signing up. We're going to sign up the whole company. And we're going to sign up the whole company and give health care to all of our employees. So if anybody has any coders out there, there's one that I'm actually very, very interested in. Any coders out there right now that maybe are looking for some kind of employment that offers benefits, Bella at thepodcast.com. Let's see what we can do for you.
And yeah, you would be actually interviewing with me and our CTO. So if you say you're a coder, you're going to get asked a lot of really difficult questions. So don't come at me with bullshit.
But it's no question that a coder should not be able to answer. If you ask me about electrical, anything, I'm going to be in the ballpark. So just saying. Go ahead, Bill.
All right, so nuclear chicken. I thought rule number 1 was every firearm is loaded, and rule number 2 was rule number 1.
Well, it depends on the field that you're talking about. There's a lot that goes into it, dude. It depends what we're doing right now. Right now, we're talking about investing. So whether or not the firearm is loaded really doesn't matter, because if you're a professional investor, you do have a revolver or a some type of firearm, but it's only got one bullet. So, and you know who that bullet's for. I hate to say it, but I'm going to hit the round of applause anyway. We know what that's for. Go ahead, Belle.
All right, so Nuclear Chicken says, this is a pretty cool story until, that is, the bill came up. Then it was ouch.
Oh my God, man! You should have seen. Oh fuck, we had another one, man. I was doing a Battle of the Nations. This was in my much younger days, and these are full contact things. Full contact, dude. I'm out there with a Lucerne hammer, and that right down there, you can't really see it close, but that's a Lucerne hammer, and that was kind of like my weapon of choice. And I was fighting this fucking Russian guy. I don't remember what it was. And in those things there, we fight to submission or unconsciousness. That's it. You beat the other guy to death until he quits or until he cannot continue. That's Battle of the Nations. And the fight against this guy, big Russian fuck. I mean, there's no weight classes out here. It's you're going against him, and you guys go for it. And I was wearing my big red, white, and blue tabard. It was cool. I never felt as cool as I did in my life. And I'm wearing field armor. If you've ever seen the movie Excalibur, and you see that over bulky, oh my God, that is stupidly heavy stuff. That's what I was wearing, because I'm not going to lose limbs over this. It's just for fun, but. I cracked that guy. I mean, just 2 pops. I got him to the head and I got him to the hand, and he submitted like almost immediately. And this is like a 240-pound guy, and I was like, "Fuck, what just happened here?" And it wasn't until afterwards that he came over and shook my hand. I hit him. I hit him with a hook, with the end, the bill hook on the back of it, because I popped him and rolled it, and it literally severed his index finger underneath his gauntlet, because he was wearing these 14th century style gauntlets, and there's a very small gap under there, and between the fingers and the gauntlet, it doesn't overhang. I'm wearing Italian mitten gauntlets, means that when I coil up, there's nothing there but steel. And he was wearing these. I give up mobility for it, but I gain protection. And I caught him with the bill hook under that, and it literally severed his finger. But this fucking guy comes over to shake hands with me, and he offers me the hand with a finger that's just fucking dangling there. It is literally just dangling there. And he comes over, "Oh, that was a good fight," and all this shit. And I was like, I got to do it, man. I had to do it because that's a life experience. So I shook his hand. I wanted to move the finger out of the way so I could shake his hand right. But he just shook. And have you ever shaken a hand like that where you feel the finger between the palms? That's what I did. That was a life experience. It was the last time I ever did Battle of the Nations. But I'm kind of... He's okay, by the way, because if they get severed and we get it fixed, they can fix that up. But yeah, that was the last time I ever did Battle of the Nations. Man, that is it's barbaric. That's the shit that should be on YouTube. But is it? Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what his bill was. It was still probably cheaper than mine, and I never got the helmet back. To this day, I don't know what happened to that helmet. These are not cheap, all right? I know what I charge. I would charge $6,000 for that helmet. I never got it back. I was in no state to ask for it at the time. I was happy they let me keep my sword, but I never got that helmet back, because I'm a professional blacksmith. I can look at it and see, okay, this is how you got it off, but they never got it back to me. So what the fuck happened to it? I think that they actually sent me over to England, and I went to Hogwarts. And they took, they just took their wand and went reparo and fixed it up so that they could remove it. And then they kept it because it was so cool. But I never got the helmet back. I should have billed them back. I was like, no, I'm taking that helmet was $6,000. You didn't give it back to me, so I'm taking $6,000 off my bill. See how that would have worked. Micah, could you have fixed that? Could you have made that happen? Because that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, no, you didn't go to Hogwarts.
I didn't
Sorry.
go to Hogwarts. That's why you break my heart every time. Are we all good here, Bill?
We are all good here.
All right. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it tonight. I'll go live tomorrow. I'll go live in the morning, and I'm going to actually show you the money, the flywheel that I personally have, and how I do what I do, and why I've been able to more or less weather this current market mess. I'm down, but I'm not down as much as others, because I keep my money working. And because I keep my money working, I can use other people's money to buy these riskier assets. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But I don't have to be right every single time on a riskier asset. I only have to be right once. That's the whole joy of what we're doing. Hit big and miss small. That's it. So while I appreciate what everybody else is doing out here right now, they're absolutely wrong. I am absolutely right. I'll show you guys how I do it. I've been doing it for years and years. It's not a big deal. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it tonight. I know I had a ball. Super Scott in the studio, but we'll be turning it over to the one, the only, the original Mighty Belle. She's going to talk us up, take us out, and you do you, Belle. Go.
All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who joined us this evening, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys and the comments and questions you send our way. With that being said, Scott and I are going to be back on Saturday with Bad Movie Night on Omniflix.
Omniflix. I ran a test. It worked a treat. If you go to omniflix.tv right now, guys, scroll down a little bit. You're going to see the live and look for one. The movie I did it by myself, but it was called Mountaintop Motel Massacre. It's as bad as that title. But if you guys want to see what we're doing for you, go ahead and take a look at that. Watch it for a few minutes. We're going to be bringing it, but it'll be me and the Belle. We haven't chosen the movie yet. If you have a movie idea, Bella@thepodcast.com. We would love to take recommendations on this. Anyway, we'll be doing that Saturday. I'm sorry. Finish up, Belle.
All right. Anyway, until now and Saturday night, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to either Scott or myself. Scott@thepodcast.com or Bella@thepodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, if you've got hate mail, just ignore Scott, send it directly to me at Bella@thepodcast.com, and I will personally address that on the stream for you. You won't be disappointed. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you next time.
We are dropping new videos and podcasts every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And be sure to look for us on Instagram, Twitter, and Parler at The Podcasts. Also, visit our page at thepodcast.com, all one word, for all of